Hello there. As part of Verizon's responsible business plan, Citizen Verizon, their investment to help vulnerable communities for 2020 to 2025 is on track to exceed $3 billion. Verizon is leveraging its resources and technology, including 5G, to address major societal issues to help people in communities advance and prosper. And that is why we are in business with Verizon. Thank you. Ebony Power 100 Talks. Small businesses are the backbone of America. There are approximately 124,551 small Black businesses in the United States. While the contributions of African American entrepreneurs can be seen across industries, some of the most prominent brands are in the worlds of fashion and personal care. I am honored today to be joined by two trailblazers who are reimagining the possibilities for Black-owned businesses. As co-founder of Fubu, J. Alexander Martin brought the swagger and style of hip-hop culture to the mainstream. With plant-based products on the rise, Beatrice Dixon, co-founder and CEO of the Honeypot company, created a feminine hygiene product line made with natural ingredients. Jay and Beatrice, we made it. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey.
Hey, so Jay, let's start with your journey. What inspired your career in fashion and what was the impetus for launching Fubu?
Well, the natural impetus was the fact that there was nothing there for us to wear. Back in our days, we would go to stores and pick out what someone thought that we liked. It didn't have our values in it, didn't have our, sensitive or our things that we need or things that we liked in it. And so we wanted to create something that was kind of basically for us, by us.
And I totally get that. Who came up with the name?
Well, the name, actually, to be honest, my partner, Damon John, kind of came up with it by saying we need something for us, by us. And then it, of course, in years, it went down to just Fubu.
Right, and it stuck. I imagine it's a bit different from Honeypot because you started with a multitude of people, like 3 partners, right? It was 4 of you guys?
That was,
yeah, it was 4 of you guys, whereas Honeypot was 1. That must have been interesting, making decisions. And
right.
Were there forerunners and some people took the back? Did everybody have their own specific position of what they were obligated to do?
Well, yes and no. Like Damon, of course, he took the lead in that respect as CEO. I took vice president, but I'm more of the fashion end of it, and he was more of the business end of it. Oh, I was fashion and / business, and we just kind of looked at our roles and kept it as that. My other partners took on sales and distribution as well. So, we would just kind of learn on the fly and learn. I was actually going to fashion school at the same time. So I would kind of go to school, come back and say, hey, listen, this is what we need to do. And they would listen to me because I guess I had the knowledge in that respect. But we all respect each other in our particular fields and what we do. And we just leave it up to those, up to them. Each one of us, so got to get it going.
Right, exactly. Well, fashion brands require a lot of capital, which is a challenge for young startups. How did you guys raise the funds for Fubu, and what were the early challenges that you may have faced?
Well, we were different. We didn't go to traditional, banks and try to get a loan and do all that stuff. We were pretty much bootstrapped when we didn't know what bootstrap even was at that point. The initial funding came from my partner with $40 just making a hat, and then from then on, I came home from the military. I was in Desert Storm, and I got money out of that at accident. And I turned around and gave him $6,000 and said, hey, let's really take this to another level. Although he believed me, which was kind of crazy, as him being the shark that he is. And, we turned into a multi-billion-dollar business.
Well, congratulations on that. Fubu is known around the world. Beatrice, thank you for being here today. What gave you the inspiration to start the Honeypot company? And how long have you been in business? And I only laugh because I'm sure there could have been many things that prompted you to start a business such as this.
It's probably the one that you're thinking about. I had, the real answer is I had bacterial vaginosis and I couldn't get rid of it. I had it for almost a year. It would go away and come back, and it was consistent. And I took the medicine. I went to the doctor. I lived on Google. I lived in forums. Like, I lived in all the places that I was trying to get, that you go to for information, But the crazy thing is, like, nothing worked. Nothing worked. And one morning I had a really vivid dream with my grandmother, who transitioned when my mom was like 7 or 8. And so I've never even met my grandmother.
Met her, right?
I've never even physically met her. But I met her in that dream, and me and her were just sitting down at a table talking. And she handed me a piece of paper that had a list of ingredients on it. And she told me in the dream that I needed to remember what was on the paper. So I'm trying to talk to her because I'm like, wow, I've never met you. But she's like, nah, that's not why I'm here. Right. And so she just had me to repeat the ingredients. So it was like, coconut, lavender, apple cider. Like, I just kept repeating it. And I felt like I repeated it like hundreds of times, And then finally she told me to wake up. And when I woke up, I literally woke up saying the ingredients. It was like, it didn't feel like a dream. It felt real,
Right.
And I wrote it down, and I made it within, because I worked at Whole Foods at the time. So I wrote down the ingredients, like, after I had a moment, and was like, wow, I can't believe this happened. I went to work because I worked in Whole Body. So I had access to all the ingredients pretty much. I bought everything, and then I made a formula, within the next couple of days. And then I started using said formula, and because I had BV at the time, and literally it vanished within 4 or 5 days. It was crazy. And so, honestly, how did I come to start this business? When I realized that it worked, I was like, oh, like, this is what I do now,
Right.
I mean, I still kept a full-time job. Like, I didn't stop working a full-time job until like July of 2017. Once we were in Target, which is crazy. But
Right.
and I wasn't a solo founder. I actually have a co-founder. My brother Simon is my co-founder. Okay. And then, I'm grateful to say at this point, everybody that works with Honeypot is also partially, they own small percentages of the company, which is important. So all of us at Honeypot, it's like kind of like a co-op. We all own it,
Oh, that's
but yeah, but that's how we got started.
Wow, what a fascinating story. To have never met her before, except in the dream. Has she come to you since?
No, not as vividly as that, but no and yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but not in that same.
Yeah, to write that down and to tell you to continue to say it so that you won't forget. Like, don't become enamored with me right now in this moment, because I need you to come up out of this slumber with the information that's going to change the world. Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you.
So Beatrice, I know funding for product lines is hard to acquire. Did you start your business with a traditional banking fund, bank funding, or angel investors, or your brother?
My brother, our first bit of money was from who's also like my brother, Troy, who's also, he was our first investor. So obviously he's he owns a bit of the company as well. But he was our very first investor when we launched at the Bronner Brothers Hair Show. And then, when we got into Target, we raised capital again. And then while we were scaling and growing, we've raised again. So we, and we're just now at the point to where we can go to a bank and get a loan, right? Like, going to a bank to get a loan is next to nearly impossible. For
a business,
for any kind of business, right? Because you have to have so much in order. You have to have money in the bank. You have to have assets, you have to have, you have to have a lot in order to get any meaningful money You know, and so I only say that because if there's any founders or people that are watching this, that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen often, right? Just so that you understand what's realistic, you know. And when we were getting started, I mean, you know, we had to rely on venture capital, on angel funds and things like that, angel investors, for us to be able to grow, you know. But today is a different day, which I'm very grateful to say.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm grateful to say it too. I'm happy to
Thank
be here with you both, having
you.
such great stories to share with people and, hopefully be an inspiration to those who are tuned in. As a business owner, branding is everything.
Mhm.
Fubu's For Us, By Us moniker had a far-reaching impact that transcended fashion. Jay, what did For Us, By Us represent in the 90s and what does it mean today?
Well, in the 90s, I believe it just was the beacon. It was like the hope that we can all do something, and not necessarily just through fashion. I think it was that people can say, hey, listen, instead of me just being a ball player, a musician or something like that, I can actually get in fashion. I think from that, we birthed a lot of different brands and help them, show them that this can actually be done, and not even just fashion and other different things. And I think it just raised the level of people wanting to be entrepreneurs. When I look at today, I think the younger generation has taken it and they've changed it into just being a slogan of next to like Black excellence. If I can use that phrase, or coin that phrase. Black excellence is, for us, bias is the epitome of helping each other, of being for community, of being just urban, and what urban means to us, and not being unapologetic about it as well.
I get that. And it definitely did. I can say it because I was there during that time, that to see, four strong Black men running a business of their own and looking like y'all were having fun while doing it.
Right.
It definitely sparked ideas across the community like, oh wow, they're doing it, we can do it too. So thank you for seeing it through. Beatrice, the Honeypot company stands out as a leader in the plant-based product space. As an African American co-owner for such a trailblazing brand, what is your hope for diversity within the world of healthcare products?
Um, the beautiful thing is that I make products for vaginas, right? And um, and
I
for so
am so sorry. And you know what? It shouldn't even be this funny. You know what I'm
it's
saying?
no,
Like
I
it,
mean
this is
it,
serious business,
but
and
sister, it's
it's a
okay.
product for it's personal care. It should be okay.
Yeah.
But it just sounds so weird. Yeah, well, I sell project
I mean,
products.
I do.
Right.
That's what I do. And then the other thing that we do, which we don't sell, we give it away, is you know, our encouragement for self-love, our acceptance of the humans that come to us, whether they're buying our products or consuming the content and the education that we have to give. Education is a huge thing for us.
Mhm.
Um, you know, accepting humans' identities are a huge thing for us, because not every human with a vagina considers themselves a woman, right? And then there's humans that may not have been born as women, and choose to, to make changes to their body and do what they need to do because it's their body and they can do that, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
There's accepting humans who feel shame because they may have a disease or a menstrual disorder, or you know what I mean? Like, so for us, the way that we look at diversity, it's not in skin color, it's in
Mhm.
accepting humanity, right?
Mhm.
And loving humanity, and also wanting to be responsible to humanity with our products, with what we serve, with how, whether it's what we're saying, how we're talking, a commercial, the products that we're making, the clinical trials that we're doing, like, so for us, there's a lot that goes into it because we really love humans. We just love the human race. And we we don't take that lightly, that we get to be in the position that we're in, because I'm also grateful to say, like, Honeypot is no longer only a good for you brand, right? Like, we are a brand, right? And we're sitting next to the brands that made the way for us, the Summer's Eves, the Vagisil's, the Always, the Kotex, the Tampax, right? Like, all of these, what we see as conventional brands really paved the way for brands like mine, small indie brands, to be able to come in, and like Honeypot, our sensitive wash is like the #1 wash in the nation.
Wow.
And that's not the #1 good for you wash. That is the #1 feminine wash on the market, period. Hands down, right? And so, so that just means a lot to me that we have these opportunities. It means a lot to me, that we're responsible to humanity. So we look at diversity a little bit different, right? With love, acceptance, education, and a positive mindset.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, what should those looking to follow in your footsteps know about what it takes to succeed in the world of personal care products?
It takes a lot of focus. It takes a drive. It takes a religious faith, not in a religion, but in particular, to me, what I do, this business, it is one of my religions. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, like, I sleep, eat, breathe this company, right? And we've got a decent sized team now, which is beautiful, because the team that we have now, me and Simon and Antoinette and Linda, we used to do, as 4 people, we used to do what like 40 people are doing now, right? And so, you have to see it in your mind. You have to know that it's as big from day one. I was just at a Builders and Innovators conference with Goldman Sachs last weekend, and LL Cool J was one of the speakers. And they asked him, people ask me this all the time, and my answer is always the same thing. But they asked him, did you ever think that when you were walking down those hallways in high school, LL way better than I do, I'm sure, MC Lyte, but he's walking down the school in down the hallway in high school, and like dreaming of being a rapper, dreaming of being a hip hop artist. And so the moderator asked him, did you ever think that it would get this big? And his answer was, absolutely. Like, I was already this big when I was walking down those hallways, right? And I just felt like he was just preaching the gospel, because it honestly, whether it's Fubu, whether it's Honeypot, whether it's LL, whether it's MC Lyte, whether it's anybody, right? Like, it's the same kind of hustle and drive that you have to have with whatever it is that you're choosing, right? You have to choose it, and you can't, you just can't sleep on it for a minute. You can't put it down for a minute. You can't for a minute be like, you know what? I don't think I want it. Like, and this is just my opinion. You have to stay steadfast in this thing and believe in what you can see and what you can't see, because that's the only thing that's going to get you to the promised land. You know what I mean? And so, you don't have to follow in my footsteps, because you got your own footsteps. And you just have to be driven and just do whatever it takes, and also relish opportunities. And the last thing that I would say is take care of yourself, take care of your mind, take care of your heart, take care of your body. If you're not happy, figure out why. If you got to talk to somebody, talk. If you got to take some medicine, don't worry, take it, right? You just have to take care of yourself, because the type of stress that comes with this environment of work, right? This work that we do, it can be heavy sometimes, especially in the beginning, but you can't let anything get you down. You just got to keep your eye on the ball and stay focused and know what you want, and be willing to go through all the doors that you have to go through to get there. And sometimes you're gonna have to go through more doors than the average person, right?
And sometimes you're gonna have to go through the same door a couple times.
Exactly. And a lot of times you're gonna hear no.
Mm-hmm.
Most times, in fact.
Right.
But you can't take it on. You just have to like, no, cool. Let me go through this way. Let me try that door. Let me, but you just have to know that you can do it, and you have to know that it's possible.
Right.
And
Totally.
if it is in your heart and mind, you can do it,
Absolutely. Thank you. I know all of those who are viewing right now are taking all of those words, it's like you're starting out with a toolbox, and every little thing that's said, you're able to, I'm gonna take that, and maybe not that, I'm gonna take this, and you just acquire this big old toolbox that you can use throughout this mission as you begin, whether you are an entrepreneur, those who are looking on, or you've been thinking about it, or you started a business and you've stalled, and now you need something to, kickstart you back into the loop of what it's really going to take. These are some great words to take with you and implement. So Jay, 30 years after launching Fubu, how has the brand's business model evolved?
Well, I think our business model is, we've gotten to the point where we're so big, over billions of dollars in sales. Now we're just primarily a licensing company. I guess we're using that brand part, wisely at this point. Just thinking smart and working better. We all have a bunch of different prep projects that we have individually. I'll name that in a second. But again, like I said, we're just a licensing company. We have everything from sheets, bedding.
Is Fubu bedding?
Yes, there's Fubu bedding. Bedding, jewelry, bags, underwear, houseware, the works.
Yeah.
So we have so much, it's funny because I can't put anything down that doesn't have my name on it. I think I'm trying to do some furniture next, but we'll see.
Okay, why not? I see plenty of people taking their hand at it.
And just to mention, so what we did also too is our little pet projects. Dame, of course, he's too busy doing Shark Tank. That's his big project. I took on television. Just recently did a deal with Fox Soul. My other partner started Fubu Radio. My other partner started Fubu Hotels. So eventually we'll have some hotels out there. So we're just trying to $1.15.
You know what? That's excellent to have a team of folks that you could just say, okay, everybody, you got your mission, you got your play, go play, come back with a ball,
We'll try.
Yeah, absolutely. So Beatrice, what's next on the horizon for the Honeypot company, and where do you want to see the brand in the next 5 years?
Honestly, for me, what's next is, and not me personally, but for Honeypot, I guess in some ways I am Honeypot, but right. But honestly, it's honestly us keeping our eye on the ball, right? Like I try not to, we've got a lot of wonderful innovation that's coming, but we innovate every year. There's new product innovation, but this is a lot of work. This type of work is a lot of work. And we want to just keep being responsible to our humans, staying focused on our mission, staying focused on our social impact missions as well, and just keeping ourselves here and aligned, right? So for us, there's a lot to come, but most importantly, what we're doing is keeping our head down and staying focused and making sure that we can continue to be the brand that is changing the way humans think about their vaginas.
Absolutely. Because it's one thing to start a business. It's another to maintain it so that, it's a household name and it lives on forever. And
right.
Your kids and kids, generations down, they know it. Is so funny to me when I hear people say, yeah, I know how to do that. I had a business where I did that. And I had a business where I did that. And I had a business, but business is no longer. So
Yeah.
this is something that, as viewers, you can take heed to all of what's being offered here, information that's being offered. Ebony and Verizon, I think this is, an awesome forum to be able to get information out. Before we close, I would just ask each of you to share, one nugget of wisdom uh, that can inspire these entrepreneurs that are just embarking upon becoming an entrepreneur or in it and just have been a little deterred or discouraged.
I guess I'll start first. I think it's really just consistency. And I think that coupled with faith, coupled with, just that stick to itness, working hard, and stop looking at problems and look at it as a solutions. And once you do that, you're going to keep going. And I guess lastly, I would probably say something to the effect of stay in your own lane and create your own lane. Stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. Stop worrying about where you see some other company and look where you see yourself, because your blessing is your blessing. And that's all I can leave it at that.
Amen. Amen to that. Thank you, Jay. Beatrice.
I would second that, and just keeping, keeping focus on your work and your mission in these days with, with the invention of social media and, it can be complicated because it creates a way for you to compare yourself to somebody else, right? In the world of venture capital or private equity, when you're raising money. And look, I still do it to this day, right? Like, I know what it took for Honeypot to raise money. And, and I see brands that are able to raise 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of what we raised, right? But honestly, it doesn't matter. This was our road. This was our journey. All things are in order. Everything happens the way that it's supposed to happen. And, I'm actually quite grateful, that things happen for us the way that they did, because it forced us to be a business. So I say all that to say, even when things don't seem right or don't seem fair, just rock with it. Don't take it on. Like, like Jay just said, every problem really isn't a problem. It's a solution. It's a way for you to figure out a new way. Right. And nothing is new under the sun. So, understand that it's okay to recreate wheels as long as you're recreating it and making it yours. But love yourself, be kind to yourself, be well, be happy, surround yourself with humans with like minds, because you are who you hang around. Right. And if you're hanging around people who can't lift you up, then sometimes that can actually help you to stay stagnant. So, and also know that you can do it. Like, so many times people ask about mentorship and this and that. And like, I'm not saying that me and Sai didn't have mentors that we could go to or people that we could talk to, but in these times, there's so much information being poured out everywhere right now. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, I bet Jay can account to this. We didn't have a lot of the resources that are here right now, right?
Amen to that.
And somehow we figured out how to sort ourselves out. Somehow we figured out how to make it work, right? Mm-hmm. It's almost better when you don't know what you don't know, because when you don't know that you can't make it, right? You make it because you have to. And so, right. I'm not saying that these forums aren't beautiful, because they are. Information is powerful, but sometimes you got to get out of your head and into your body and get moving and get motion happening, right? And don't think about what's right or wrong. If it's wrong, you're gonna figure it out anyway, right? Right. So
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. To Beatrice Dixon, co-founder and CEO of the Honeypot Company, and Jay Alexander Martin, founder of Fubu, Ebony Power 100 Talks, Verizon, thank you. Small Black businesses is what we're talking about. And thank you for joining me. I look forward to, I guess, the next 5 years for both of you and much success. And I'm going to check out some Honeypot.
Thank you, ma'am.
And and Jay, I'll be waiting for that Fubu furniture.